One of the wonderful things about this hobby of building Lego is that it can be a solo endeavor, as you know, or you can also enjoy it with your family. And that's exactly what I did this last week. I'm Tom Bray since 1954. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Our son's visiting from Berlin, our grown up baby boy. And as I mentioned before, we've been very excited to tackle the Dungeon and Dragons castle, which has sat in a box for me for over a year. It's a big build. I'm really happy to have the help, but I'm especially happy that I'm building it with my son, who is a Dungeon and Dragons fan. He's played the game before. I've never played. Now, he's pointed out to me that on our game shelf, we have a starter kit of Dungeon and Dragon, and that he's always wanted to play with the family. So I'm hopeful that when everybody's assembled, we're going to do just that. But I wanted to show you this week our progress. We're about 7 bags in, but it's enough to form an impression, a first impression of this set, as well as to kind of show you a little bit of what we've done and what the set looks like if you're not that familiar with it. Now, I bought it because it's a castle, and only because it's a castle, not because of the game. And as a castle, it looks pretty spectacular. It's a good match for the Lion's Knight's castle, which I use for my forces of good, King Cuthbert. And I think that in this Dungeon and Dragons castle, I'll probably use it for my evil factions, led by the old one, the vampire who leads his forces of up to no good. So I think it'll be perfect for that. So I wanted to take you on a little tour, first of all, the box, and show you just the unboxing of it. The box, you'll notice, is really colorful, and it gives you a good sign of things to come inside. It's a really great tease. Now, inside, there are 31 bags to this, and I think it's 4 books. So this is an enormous build, and we decided, Spencer and I, to build with the books and not with the online app that you can put on your phone or on a tablet. One of the things we noticed about building with the book is that it's sometimes hard to discern the different colors of the pieces, especially the grays and the greens. We were very confused by one section in the book as to just what the difference it was between the 2 parts, and we discovered, once we looked at it carefully, that it was just a difference in shade of green tiles. That can be pretty confusing. You're kind of at the mercy of what the printing is like. I'm sure it's probably clearer on the app, but we decided to build with the book, and we're going to stick with that decision. It hasn't been too difficult, except for that. Now, the first thing you notice when you start opening bags is, immediately they give you a minifigure too in the first several bags. Now, I don't know what these figures are. I only know them from their aesthetic point of view, and they're really, really pleasing to look at. They're cleverly printed, and the headpieces have, with hair, have a lot of ears that look like elven or dwarf ears. Now, the other thing you'll notice about the bags is that they're cello bags. Now, Lego has not gone to paper bags for parts, at least not in this set, at least not when it was manufactured and put into the box. They may have switched over. I don't know. If any of you out there have a Dungeon & Dragons set that has paper bags, leave me a note in the comments. I'd be interested. I understand the desire to go to paper bags for the environment, but I have to say that in my experience, it's a whole lot easier in a cello bag to see if you leave a part behind. Now, we're at bag 7. And I want to show you what building up to bag 7 looks like. But before I do, take a look at these minifigs. I think they're really, really wonderful. I'm going to line up the ones that have already been revealed in the first 7 bags, and you can get a look at them, front and back. So I really look forward to building the rest of the set where we can get to all of the minifigs. There's quite a few in this set. Now, up to bag 7, builds this kind of first structure, which looks like a little inn, an inn with an innkeeper, that sort of thing. On the main floor is a fire, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the cool thing about this that you'll first notice is the color scheme, which is really, really colorful. There's purple in the roof tiles and blue, and it's just very pleasing to look at. The other thing you'll notice is that it's built quite substantially. There's nothing kind of flimsy about it. Often in some of the earlier Lego castles, and even the most recent release, like the Horse Knight's castle, I always worry when I move it that it's going to fall into 1,000 pieces because it doesn't seem that sturdy of a build. Whereas the Lion's Knight's castle is built like a tank, and I can easily move those sections without a lot of fear that I'm going to scatter parts everywhere. I think that this Dungeons & Dragons set will have a similar kind of sturdiness to it. Now, you'll notice that this is in 2 stories. And one of the cool things about it, keeping in mind with this kind of sturdy build, is that the top section easily separates without scattering in a million pieces from the bottom. So you can then see down into the first floor. And that's an exciting feature that I really love. Also, you'll notice that in the second story, the roof easily comes off, the roof section to the right, so you can see down into the bedroom area. And while we're down there, one of the very, very fun features is the bed that opens up and reveals like a snarling creature inside with teeth. And that's probably part of the game. I don't know what that is, but I think it's really cool and will be a very cool effect for the old one's castle. He might invite mortals in to spend the night in that bed, and they'll be in for a rude awakening. That's the look at this set. I wonder if you've built any of it, or the entire thing, and what you think. Finally, the thing I want to talk to you about excites me a lot, and that is that in the last few weeks I talked about how I was feeling a little bit of burnout and that Pick-a-Brick saved me, which it did. It's just the interest in collecting the parts for the new minifig factions has been really, really great. And many of you suggested that I branch out, that one of the ways you get over burnout is to branch out into another genre of Lego. And I've decided to do exactly that. I'm branching out. I'm not leaving Castle because I love Castle. But as you know, there's not a lot of material that's released, and since I made a personal decision not to participate in the Bricklink program because of cost and space, most of those sets are big. There are some smaller sets, but many of them are big, and they're too big for me. I've decided that I'm going to go to my second love, which is Star Wars. It's a completely different kind of genre. It won't integrate in with Castle like Ninjago might, and so I won't be tempted to try to add it to my Castle world, and it'll be refreshing for that very reason. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I was a young man when the first movie came out, and there were a lot of very cool and affordable sets and a lot of opportunity for army building, especially in the era of the Clone Wars, and there's a lot of sets out for that. And so what I'm decided to do is to concentrate on the sets that help me army build the clones and the droids and the forces of good and the forces of evil, just like a Castle world would. And I'm going to concentrate on sets under $100. So I'm going to integrate into this channel some look at my progress in building my Star Wars world as well as my Castle world. And that'll give me an opportunity to clear my palate and to have another interest and another exciting Lego experience. And I hope that you'll come along with me on this journey, even if you're not a Star Wars collector. And if you are, that you've finally seen me launch into Star Wars and that you can give me some advice about how to continue building my new Star Wars world. That's it for now. Until next time, keep building your Lego kingdom one brick at a time. Thanks so much.